If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Hello, welcome back to Toure TV. I pray you are doing well and I pray you are doing great. If this is your first time, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share the videos for the benefit of others. Alcoholism is a problem facing Africans. And since when the Western world left Africa, they made sure that we simmer in our soup. In the sense that almost every country in Africa had an alcohol plant as of today. And our people are imbibing alcohol and falling on the streets, like in this video. Is this the way forward? If we are to compete on the worldly stage, we are supposed to keep all this alcoholism aside. To the extent most people who imbibe alcohol today are jobless. Some lost their job because of alcoholism. Despite the fact that we have fruits in Africa, most of our countries do not take full advantage of the fruits that we have in Africa. Rather, they allow the Western world companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, just to name a few, to feed ourselves, to feed our people with drinks that had sugar in them. And we all know the damage of sugar, like in this video.
And believe me, type 2 diabetes is a condition you do not want to get if you can avoid it, and is entirely preventable. This is a condition that is associated with heart attacks, strokes, kidney disease, blindness, amputation, increased risk of depression, increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, and even increasing the risk of many cancers.
Coca-Cola is introducing a new, smaller can for the UK. Does it demonstrate a new commitment to tackling obesity, or just a cleverer way to sell sugar? Well, James Quincy is the president of Coca-Cola Europe. What good does Coca-Cola do you physically?
I think Coca-Cola, as the introduction said, does have some sugar in it. It is energy. Is it an absolute necessity? No, it's not. Millions of people enjoy it as part of their diet across the UK.
Does have some sugar in it, you say?
It does.
Why don't you say specifically how much sugar there is in this can, for example?
I think if you
on the side you say 13, you have a percentage on there, don't you?
Yes, right here on the front, it quite clearly calls out the amount of sugar in this can of Coke.
And what does it say?
35 grams, which is 6 teaspoons of sugar, which is about the same amount of calories as a cappuccino or half a croissant. So there is calories. And actually, what we're doing is to say, look, the information is here. We want to actually promote and make sure.
Do you imagine people know if they go to the cinema, and this is a small one, and there are big ones here too. You go to the cinema and you get a jug of Coke like this. Do you think people have any idea how much sugar's in it?
And maybe they don't. And I think one of the things we need to do.
Look at this. 23 sachets of sugar in that single container, the equivalent thereof. Now that is a staggering amount of sugar, isn't it?
That is why we're very focused, as one of the things we're doing, on getting the information out there. We're not trying to hide the information behind what's in a Coca-Cola
But you are trying to hide it.
But there's zero sugar in a Coke Zero.
Well, clearly it's called a Coke Zero, but the Coke Classic, look at this one here. There's 44 packets of sugar in this one. 44!
Indeed there are, and I think what we're saying is, look, we want to make sure that people have the information available to them so that they can make the choices, and if they don't want the big one, then fine, and that clearly is not one that's going to be for everyone. We want to make sure the information is available. We want to make sure there's more availability of more choices, whether it's smaller packages, as you had in your intro.
Yeah, but whether it's 23 in something this size or 44 in something this size, each of which is to be consumed in one single sitting at a cinema, this is staggering, isn't it?
Look, I think we do need to recognise that things need to change, that the bigger cups need to come down. I don't think that we are talking that the world can't change and the world doesn't need to move on. I think what it comes back to is we recognise that we need to play our part in helping to fix this very important issue of obesity. It's something that's come about from us taking in too many calories and not burning them off with activity, many things over many decades, and we're taking actions. We are promoting the information, as you point out. It is on the can. We're putting it in the advertising. We're increasing choices of the small cans, helping people manage their calories, promoting the zero-calorie options if people are having trouble.
So you accept your role in the obesity epidemic, do you?
I think as a contributor of calories into the British diet, of course we must. I think as a contributor of calories into the British diet, of course we must. I mean, soft drinks, all soft drinks together contribute 2% of the calories. It's a part of it, and therefore we need to accept our role, and we do. And that's why we want to focus on actions that we believe will help bring this crisis under control.
Isn't what you're doing very similar to what the tobacco companies did when, after the link with cancer had been established, started then trying to get us all to smoke light cigarettes, as opposed to saying, don't have any of them?
I think there's a very clear distinction between tobacco and anything to do with food and drink, because in the end, there's no amount of tobacco that's good for you. It directly causes some of the disease, no amount. Whereas with food and drink, anything in moderation can work within your lifestyle.
Maybe one of these packets in a cup of tea during the course of the day, or maybe even two. 23 in the smallest container at the cinema.
The reality, people aren't drinking those. And I think what we need to focus on is, if we're trying to solve obesity, it's about information. And if you have the information and you decide, or whoever decides not to have it, absolutely fine. What we're here to do is to get the information into people's hands, help them make the choices that fit their lifestyle, their choices during a week, and also get out there and try and promote activity with some NGO partners to try and help the other side of the equation and burn off some of those calories. Because when you actually look out there and say, has anyone actually solved the crisis? Because sometimes we look at things and say, well, what will work? But what's important is to look at some of those examples where things have actually happened. There's an approach called EPOD out there, started in France, moved across Europe, is now spreading across the world, where they brought down childhood obesity by 20%. And it's not by taking some eye-catching or simple measures. They did a number of things, bringing in private companies, health companies, local government communities, and brought down childhood obesity by 20%.
Thank you very much.
The Western world left Africa. They did not live up with something tangible in order to get our various countries on their feet. But some of the alcoholic plants were established during those times. And when they left, they allow our people to continue with the business so that we can continue to simmer in our soup. Just like the Bible says. So alcoholism is a problem. It is a serious problem facing Africans. Most countries in Africa, when it is weekend from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in the evening, you see our youth, our teeming youth, at alcoholic centers, drinking and imbibing alcohol in a gluttonous way, thinking they were enjoying themselves. Instead of putting or adding value to our raw materials, like the plants or the fruits that we have pineapple in most countries in Africa. Why don't we process those pineapples and make good quality drinks out of it? Just some solutions to the alcoholic problem. We have mangoes. We can package them, add value to the mango, make some fruit juice out of it. We have oranges, blackberry, strawberries, blueberries, apples. All these are fruits that can add some vitamins in our system. But no. Our various governments prefer to allow the alcoholic companies or the alcohol multinationals to establish their companies in Africa and sell it to our people. Make their money without paying the taxes they are supposed to pay. This is the sickness that we have been facing as black people on the continent and elsewhere. When you look at the pictures of people imbibing alcohol on weekends, some were heavy drunkards. To the extent they drink water, they used to become dizzy. We do have a whole lot of stuffs in Africa, which, if value is being added, it will create jobs for African youths. When you create jobs for your youth, you don't expect them to indulge in criminality or criminal acts. Today, some of our countries in Africa are at the tipping point of falling into chaos because majority of the youths do not have anything to keep them busy. This has to stop. This insanity has to stop. We are supposed to liberate ourselves and our countries together. When our people constantly keep on imbibing alcohol, this is not the way forward. For Africa to be great again, there are a whole lot of issues which we have to address. And we cannot address that without the diaspora coming into it. The diaspora are very, very important into this issue. Nonetheless, we are supposed to come together, hand in hand, keep aside what went on initially or during the slave trade, keep those things aside and focus. As Excellency will always say, we don't have to even like each other. We don't have to love each other before we can be able to come together and work for the common goal and liberation of our people all together in Africa and elsewhere in the diaspora. Until next time, I say, we are together.